Helldivers 2 is a game entirely about enacting genocide on bugs. But what if you're some kind of commie bug sympathizer and you decide one day to lay down your gun and dedicate your life to Bug Buddha? Well, I wanted to find out if that's possible. And of course, because I hate myself, I decided to do it on the hardest difficulty, Helldive mode. Now, first things first, I'm going to define the rules. Rule 1, no killing bugs. Obviously. Rule 2, no murdering by proxy. Kills from turrets, rovers, and teammates all fail the challenge, so I will truly have no way to deal with the bugs other than running away from them. And finally, Rule 3, possibly the hardest rule, no falling in love. Next up, we need to consider what type of mission we're gonna do. Obviously, a mission type like eradicate 500 bugs is not really in line with what we're trying to accomplish here. So I set out to make a list of possible missions that could work for this, but I ran into a problem pretty quickly. What counts as killing bugs? Seems pretty simple, right? It's this number at the end of the mission. But like, firing a nuke and destroying eggs don't really seem like very pacifist things to do, but I'm just gonna ignore all that and pretend like it doesn't matter. So this number will be the only thing dictating if I'm a serial bug murderer or not. After a lot of consideration and some trial and error, I decided that egg missions would be the easiest to do pacifist, as long as we ignore the implications. Now, we need to decide my loadout. Whatever guns I choose really don't matter all that much because they're all used for the heinous act of murder, but I decided to take the sickle with me because it'd be perfect for destroying eggs. Now, the grenade I choose does matter because of this little beauty right here, the stun grenade. The stun grenade is the only non-lethal weapon in the entire game. It forces thoughts of liberty into bugs' head so hard, it stops them in their tracks, so it's absolutely vital in this challenge. Now we need to make one of the most important decisions. Which set of drip am I gonna wear? This really boils down to three choices. The Hero of the Federation armor, the Bone Snapper armor, or the CE-35 Trench Engineer armor. The Hero of the Federation armor gives you divine intervention and makes it so you have a 50-50 shot of surviving literally anything. And I do mean anything. The Bone Snapper armor turns you into a severe stim addict and lets you stick 2 extra stims in your crusty socks for safekeeping. And finally, the Trench Engineer armor turns you into the Demo Man from TF2 and lets you stock up on 2 extra grenades. All of these could be incredibly useful, but I can only choose one. While the Hero of the Federation armor can be a literal lifesaver, I left my gambling addiction back in New Vegas.
Answers.
You fucking broke-ass bitch.
And as I quickly realized in this challenge, there are so many bugs gangbanging you all at once that most of the time you don't even have the opportunity to use a stem. So I decided to use the Trench Engineer armor. It's just going to be me and my stun grenades against the armies of bugs. Hey, editing Aries here. OBS shit the bed and made most of the footage look like a slideshow, and it's completely unwatchable. The good news is that only the first attempts were messed up. So for this first attempt, I'm just going to be using pictures and my epic editing skizzles to convey what happened. Also, if you enjoyed these videos, I would love if you subscribed. I'm so close to 4K subs. Now back to the video. My first attempt was on the planet Crimsica. I couldn't find an egg mission, so in my delusions of grandeur, I convinced myself I could totally do an ICBM mission. Spoiler alert, I could not do an ICBM mission. I landed near the first objective and immediately went prone. I thought that stealth would be the best strategy. That was until I realized there was like 20 bugs in this area, and I had no fucking way to sneak in. So I took the next best approach and started committing domestic terrorism via stun grenades. Well, it turns out that the bugs didn't appreciate that, so more of them came. And then more of them, and then more of them, and then more of them. This was my own personal hell. Just me, 17,000 bugs, and a terminal that I couldn't possibly get to because of the ocean of ticks that was pushing me towards the 40-foot tall Bile Titan. Needless to say, this mission was not a success. After the embarrassment of the last attempt, I realized I could clearly not do this alone. So I called in my friend Anthony to be my knight in shining armor. Now he can be the delicious fleshy corpse that the bugs maw on, while I destroy all of the eggs. Now, of course, because God hates me, there was 2 chargers ready to assault me the moment I landed. And like a absolute hero, Anthony completely left me to fend for myself. Can we all just please give a moment of applause to Anthony? After my run-in with the local wildlife, we ran to the first eggs objective. This is when the positives of having a teammate really started to show, as Anthony could coax all of the bugs away while I gunned down the eggs. With the final eggs of the first objective being taken somehow when Anthony died, we completed the first of 3 objectives and we still had 7 lives left and 37 minutes of time on the clock. This was unprecedented success, and the idea of actually winning this challenge started to not seem impossible anymore. As we dropped back in, we immediately began to sprint towards the next objective with fearless pacifism in our heart. And by fearless, I mean shit scared because, oh god, the chargers are back! They started to toss us around like ping pong balls, and we somehow survived with 0 casualties. Now, remember how we have extremely few stratagems and we have to be really careful with them? Well, imagine if Anthony somehow had called in the mortars on a random nest and not the objective. That'd be crazy, right? Now, with this next objective, we hit the fucking jackpot because there was only 19 eggs, and the whole thing was open so I could shoot at it from afar while Anthony conversed with the chargers.
I promise you guys don't want to eat me. I taste like shit.
As Anthony waded through hundreds of them and I destroyed the last egg, a new problem appeared. A Bile Titan. Bile Titans are the largest and most powerful enemies in the game, and they could one-shot you with insane accuracy. They're basically the worst case scenario for this challenge. This Bile Titan decided it really wanted to eviscerate Anthony, so it honed in on him and did not let him escape. Meanwhile, as a way to repay him from earlier, I heroically left him to get melted. But of course, this just left the Bile Titan's attention on me and me only, so I revived Anthony to become my meat shield again, which of course he did a great job at. But as we ran away from the hordes of bugs, Anthony asked,
"Can we take out the Spore Spear?"
But unbeknownst to him, that was not a Spore Spewer, as the sky started to be blackened out with fucking flying bugs with the actual fuck.
There are fucking shriekers here.
Oh no. No. So I had never seen shriekers in game, and this was my very first experience with them. Right here, in the middle of this challenge. Fuck you, Arrowhead. As we dodged the shriekers and moved through the thick fog, we saw it. The glow of the last eggs we needed to destroy. Anthony was able to mow down 8 of them before he was killed. And then I glitched inside of a fucking rock. I'm not joking. I spent a grand total of 1.5 minutes being stuck inside this rock with no way out. Now, the best part about this is that it inadvertently made things easier, because all of the bugs were trying to get me in the rock, so Anthony could kill everything by himself with only 1 bug attacking him. He somehow died to the 1 bug attacking him. As I prayed for death in the rock, God was merciful and granted my request, so we were able to respawn close to the objective. We ran in and we did it. We actually just beat Helldive mode without a single fucking kill. When I started recording for this video, I assumed it would be a meme video that would end with me failing, but I actually did it. We actually did it, because let's be honest, Anthony carried my ass the whole time. We ran to extraction, but sadly perished right as Pelican 1 touchdown, but it didn't really matter. Extracting was never part of the challenge. We laid down our lives for pacifism, and I'm happy with that. So that's how we beat Helldivers 2's hardest difficulty without killing anything. As long as you don't count that 1 bug I accidentally killed. And as always, a huge thank you to my patrons, Daddy Helion, Dee Dee, and Isaac. Thank you all for watching. If you could subscribe, that would be great, and I'll see you next time. Have a good night.